Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. You're listening to the Wrestling Fans Insight Sunday Takedown. I'm your host, John Hoppe, and we have got quite a bit of going on this weekend with professional wrestling and other things. I'm joined by my co host, William. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am so peachy and almost tipsy, I can barely stand it. So
Cool. Maybe you can use some of that energy to put up those blackout shades.
maybe
Yeah.
I might need just a few more, and then I can actually hold myself straight. So we also have Carlos in the house. How you doing?
Good. Willie, is he wearing a championship belt right now? That's what I. Because if he's having that good a day, he's probably walking around with his like old, old old.
No, we're not on the airplane ride from hell here. We're fine. So
He has a big gold on. Oh, having a great day.
Actually, I'm kind of curious where he put his DiBiase belt.
See,
uh,
exactly.
I
Just maybe him and Sarah do a little role play right now because I think that was their outfits on the cruise.
Oh, it was.
it's actually
Yeah.
going to be our outfits again on the
Mhm.
next one.
Oh,
So
boy.
I do. I am planning.
You want to win this
soon.
$1 million title today or what? I'm good, man. I'm just trying to catch up today. After this, I'm gonna go to the gym. Then I'm gonna watch that show from San Francisco, and then maybe a little G1. I'm currently rewatching the main event of TNA on the background because I fell asleep during it last night.
Nice.
Lots of wrestling.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we also have Stampede in the house. How you doing?
Sitting pretty up here in the Great White North.
No. I'll be coming to visit here. Let's go. Make room for us all. Let's go.
I'll leave the door open in British Columbia. You can sneak through.
Oh boy. We're gonna leave that topic alone.
Yep.
And everybody who doesn't know what we're talking, all you have to do is open up your browser.
Yeah, turn on your phone if you have it. Yeah, if you're listening to this, you know.
And hijacking our chat today will not help.
Unless you really got a lot of really lot of things muted.
Yeah. Anyways,
Next.
yeah. We got quite the show going on today. We're going to start off with the results from TNA Slammiversary. They had their pay-per-view last night, and I thought from start to finish it was a very good card, very solid. Why don't we start with Davey to kind of give us what his thoughts were before we give the results out?
Well, first of all, congrats to Davey for predicting the most matches right. So let's get that out. I acknowledge
Two out of three.
Whatever.
2 out of 3. All in and Slammiversary.
Well, technically, let's get. I had to combine one for my date, so let's just.
Technically, listen to him. Technically,
I think he's just upset you replaced his Logan Paul picture in our group chat. That's all.
Well, I replaced it with Jay Briscoe, so I mean that's.
I'm okay with that
one. This was a TNA rarely misses on pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever they're calling them now. But this one delivered. Even the pre-show or whatever they call those delivered. It was 4 solid matches. Yeah, like they entertained. They were still pushing the main card, doing that. Like it's just really well done, top to bottom. Very, very, very enjoyable show to watch. Anybody that hasn't yet should do that.
Carlos, you said you're still watching the main event.
Well, I mean, I kind of know what happens. I mean, I want to give them kudos. This probably won't happen again, but TNA outdrew AEW yesterday. So let's give them props for drawing. They were in fourth. They had a solid of 4,000 people. I think that's a reflection of how good the product's been since they went back to TNA wrestling up in Canada. A hot crowd again. To me, hot crowd makes a show, and it's a fun show from everything I watched. I mean, for me, the highlight was the Rascals. I just think getting Wesley back was a big win for them, and I just think it showed a lot for the partnership between them and NXT, and it was just fun. I want to see Wentz back in WWE with Miguel and even the other Rascal. I forget I'm coming up very far here. Myron Reed, get them all there. But it was just a big win all around. And like Stampede said, when you do an unannounced match on your pre-show with Alex Hammerstone coming back, That just shows to me that they're giving the crowd, they're giving the people their money's worth. I thought that was really good.
And to speak to what Carlos said about the crowd, I noticed that last night. I had both shows going at the same time, Collision and Slammiversary. Both of those crowds were hot.
Yeah.
That is so nice to hear, right? But the people are there and they're into what's going on. Both shows had that last night. That was really, really nice to hear.
Yes, it was. As I'm kind of doing some modifications here.
The Dynasty, what the hell? That was like
Yeah, that was the wrong one. There we go. Sorry, guys. I was having a bit of a brain fart there.
I thought you're usually trying to put yourself up there holding your titles. Is that your picture you're looking for?
No.
Trying to flex.
Good God. You sure pretty envious of my championships there,
I
aren't you?
am. Oh, I'm gonna fight you for one. Remember, like my knee.
I think Carlos just wants to wrestle me. That's all. So, anyways, why don't we go ahead and start off with what the results from TNA during their countdown show, which is pretty much their equivalent of 0 hour of buy-in. TNA Knockouts Fatal 4-Way. Tasha Steelz gets the victory over Zia Brookside. Giselle. Jesus. Apparently, I need another hard rupee here. Giselle Shaw and Bobby Apache. I'm really
another one or some bread.
Yeah, something like that. I thought this was a pretty good start to the card. All four threw out some really good performance there. Do you prefer Davey or David?
Stampede makes it easy.
Or Stampede?
Either or. I'll answer to all three.
All right. Just don't answer to what Carlos would normally call you. But anyway.
I can answer the same question as all three. Just do it like 3 times, get 3 different answers.
Three faces of
Stampede.
Three faces of Stampede. Look out. That match there, the 4-way, I really enjoyed that match. No problem with Tasha Steelz winning. Everybody looked good in this. Like everybody got their time to shine. Giselle Shaw looked really good. She got a lot of talent this one. So I hope they keep presenting her like that, like as a credible threat. Even if she didn't win, she still looked very credible coming out of that. And Zia has a lot of upside too. Like she's a good young talent that they signed there. That was a smart hire. Apache, I'm not that familiar with, but even she looked good. So win all around for everybody involved in that one.
Carlos?
Well, this was a miss. I was just laughing because I the whole time I thought this was a damn tag team match. So I was like, oh, it's a fatal 4. Okay. The biggest takeaway for me out of this is just Apache being there and them announcing this kind of just hammering that they're working with AAA, because again, it looks like Tony Khan's going to be more working with CMLL, which to me is fine. I mean, this is business, but I just think that's a big win for them. If Conan, and them go working with them instead, then that's a big win for TNA. And I'm just happy to see them shouting that out, that partnership. But again, all women look great. I think, and again, we'll get to it, but I think Giselle Shaw, she's definitely a future Knockouts champion, and I'm just glad to see how much she's improved coming into her.
Going on match 2 of the countdown, Kushida defeating Rich Swann. Your thoughts, Carlos?
What's the guy's name that used to do that guy who wrestled in WWE that used to do the thing with that Kushida? Yeah, he wants to gimmick infringement. Yeah, but I thought it was. I mean, to me, again, I didn't realize that it is what it is. I mean, the match was serviceable. It was placed where it should have been. I'm just leaving it at that.
Davey.
Yeah, match. It was a serviceable match. It wasn't anything great. I do like the little shift in character for Kushida though, because he's been running the same character now for quite a while. So kind of pressure things up a little bit, give him another little twist. I'm interested to see where that is going forward. And I liked the callback to Hakuchi.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was amazing, but The match itself, though, I mean, yeah, it was pretty much a countdown quality match. So wasn't the best, but definitely wasn't the worst.
I would have liked to see like between because him and Gresham have the storyline going on, so I would have liked to see that play out.
Oh, and they'll double back to that. Just Gresham
Yeah, they
couldn't
will
get-
for sure.
Yeah, he just
Like I
couldn't
said.
get to Montreal. That's all that was.
And in the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship, the champions, the Militia, retains over Spitfire. I thought it was a hell of a match there between the four ladies. This one I thought really should have been on the main card, but Davey?
Didn't go as long as I would have liked. It was only 8:47. I didn't have any problems with the match. Right, the right people went over. Because I mean, Masha is one of the best women wrestlers going this year. So to keep her visible with a title is smart. I think Alicia is underrated. I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves because she's in a Masha shadow a little bit. But solid match. Like I said, nothing spectacular. But pre-show, so filled the time, entertained. Right people went over. So nothing really bad came out of it in my eyes.
And did you want to throw your 2 cents, Carlos?
I'm good.
Okay, because I know you're going to save up for this next one. Eric Young defeating Hammerstone. Let's get Carlos's thoughts.
Hammerstone. I mean, it's his first match back, but they should be pushing Hammerstone to the moon.
Davey?
Oh yeah, Hammerstone. I mean, he has everything you want. He has the look. He has the in-ring skills. He has the mic skills. He ticks all the boxes, right? But this was a smart way to kind of reintroduce him. Was going to get a good
Even
reaction.
though it wasn't announced.
Even though it wasn't announced, but it got a good reaction from the crowd with Eric Young in there, right? Because Eric Young, he's Canadian. They're in a Canadian city, so it was a good tie-in there. With Eric winning, easily sets up a feud going forward. So short match. It was only about 5 minutes long, but once again, pre-show, you can only run matches so long on those things. You only have a limited amount of time.
All right, let's start on to the main part of the pay-per-view. The opening match, Brooke and Matt Hardy defeating Dango or JDC, whatever you want to call them. I
Baby
didn't really,
Daddy.
I didn't really have any thoughts on this match. Do either of you?
Wasn't the best. It was very short. The right person went over, given what happened with Jeff, because Matt would come back and avenge his brother. So Matt going over made sense. But there wasn't much to this. It was very, very short. So it didn't get the show off to an electrifying start. But
I think this is the one time I would say delete. Carlos?
The wrong person won. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Gone. We're going to move on to the TNA World Tag Team Championship. New champions are crowned as ABC defeated the System. Carlos?
I'm okay with this as long as the Hardys aren't going to be winning the titles. But that was what I thought with the current landscape was like I saw the Hardys, and of course, I mean I see the Hardys winning those tag belts. So as long as they're going to let ABC keep these titles for a while, I'm okay with it. If they're going to just lose them in a month to the Hardys, I don't see the point of the title change.
Davey?
I very much enjoyed this match. And with the System losing, this was a foreshadowing of things to come. We didn't know that at the time, but ABC is one of the best young tag teams going when they're clicking on all cylinders. So I agree with Carlos there. Like give them a good solid run. They'll be happy they did. The System is fine. They work good as a group, but individually they're not the best people in the ring. Right? They're more presentation. So this will up the game as far as storylines and in-ring content with the tag team titles going forward. So I'm fine with the whole thing. Match was good. No real complaints.
And speaking of another good match, Mike Santana defeating Jake something. And we'll start with Davey on his thoughts with this one.
I absolutely enjoyed this match. These two guys, Mike Santana especially, like he is it as a singles guy in this promotion. He has future world champion written all over him, like his arms, his legs, his head, his forehead. You got world champion backwards like Al Snow had would help me. That's how over and good this guy is. Right? So keep an eye on him. Jake something does not get the credit that he should. Like he's come a long way. Big guy, agile, moves really well. So they meshed really well together. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. But the right guy went over in Santana.
Well, and I've always felt Jake something's always been one of those underappreciated talents because
Oh,
he
100%.
always tends, for me, he always tends to seem to go very well above and beyond in just about any of the matches he wrestles in. So, Carlos, your thoughts?
Like I said in our chat, like for me, when like not having Pride and Powerful, like not having those guys as tag team champions in AEW was one of Tony Khan's biggest blunders as a booker. So when Santana first came back and he wanted to be a singles wrestler, I was really upset with him because, like as a fan, I wanted to see him and Ortiz win the tag titles. But he's quickly become one of my favorite single wrestlers. Again, like anyone who bets on themselves and they back it up. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he engages with me on Instagram either, but again, anyone who's like that, and I see them bet on themselves and going there and showing up and going to like Prestige, like doing the small things, like trying to represent Puerto Rico and New York, like that's just someone I want to champion for, and I definitely hope that we eventually get to see him as the future TNA World Champion because he is killing it.
And he's in that sweet, like he's 33.
Yeah.
So he's in that
he's worked on
sweet
his
spot
body,
of
yeah.
right. Like he's built himself up enough physically. Like he's in good shape. He got a good look. He moves well, and he has the experience from everything that he did in his 20s.
Yeah, and he started young. I mean, he started young. He has the years of experience. Like, he's it, man.
He's a 16-year pro, so he's been at it a while.
Yeah.
Moving on to the 6-man tag match, the Rascals defeating No Quarter Catch Crew. Oh, I got that right on the first try.
You did.
I'm amazed. Not bad for a semi-drunk. So, well, we start
semi.
Well, we start with Carlos on his reaction to this match.
To me, like this, I mean, again, it might not have been the most technical match, but to me, like this was my match of the night. It's just it's a fun match. Again, to me, like this is the partnership done right, getting Wesley over there. To me, this is what should have happened. I mean, I hope there's still a lot more to come with the partnership with NXT. But I love this match. Again, to me, like this is what I want to see as a wrestling fan. Getting to see Wesley working with his brothers again, getting to see you could just see the general excitement. The spotlight again. TNA does WWE a lot better than WWE does NXT, but just even the opening, the promo packages from the Quarter Catch Crew, like just hyping them up. It was really well done. It was a really fun match. I really loved it.
Davey?
Thoroughly enjoyed this. They work really well together. Like as far as that trios tandem that they put together in this match, the right team went over because the hometown crew should be going over in this. The No Quarter Catch Crew they seem more at home in TNA than they do NXT with the style that they have and the presentation that they should have. That's just in my opinion, right? Especially Charlie Dempsey. Like Charlie Dempsey is a more wrestler orientated kind of guy, right? I think you would see more of that him in TNA. But this match, like it did deliver. I was entertained for the whole 14 minutes of it. So no complaints on this one either. Well,
let's see if maybe we get a complaint on this next one. the Montreal Street Fight for the TNA Digital Media Championship and Canadian International Heavyweight Championship. PCO becomes the new double champion, defeating the former champ AJ Francis. Overall, I know we kind of made some light on this match last week, but this actually turned out to be not all that bad, really. Thought maybe we just had a little too much in there, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Davey?
It was one of those enjoyable train wrecks. It
Well
was
said.
like it was.
Well said.
Yeah, like it was. I'm glad they switched it over to this style of match because this suits PCO. I mean, he's 50, whatever he is, 56, I think.
He's 800 years old. Quit trying to hide it.
Yeah, he's 56, right? So, like, he's getting up there. So he's not going to put on any technical masterpiece at this stage of his journey. But these matches here, he excels in because he's nuts, right? I got this one wrong. I did think Francis was going over, but I did pick that before they changed the stipulation of the match. I probably would have went the other way with it if they had it announced when we did our picks. But another hometown boy going over, right? PCO from the area. So crowd went nuts for it. See where it goes going forward as far as the title run with it. But I enjoyed this. Like, you know, it was if you like these kind of matches where they're going to get a little crazy with it with the big spots, PCO bouncing off, you know, the backhanded chairs and everything else that they did. It was well done for what the match was.
Well, and you left out the main part. Steph DeLander proposes to PCO.
Yeah, that's whatever. I was just critiquing the match. Whatever PCO does in his personal life, what stays in Montreal or what happens in Montreal stays in Montreal. So PCO and Steph have at her.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
And I have to send a shout out to our teammate Bryan Ballard. He's the only one that got the match right. He's the only one that picked PCO out of all of us. So
And doesn't watch the
but still didn't get to change the group picture.
Woo! Damn.
wow, shots fired.
Shots fired.
Carlos, your thoughts on the match?
Dumpster fire. Just like I mean, like Davey said, it's an entertaining match, but to me, like AJ Francis is really. I mean, I think what's going to happen is they're going to hotshot the title. I see AJ Francis either winning this, or I would love to see a callback to Eric Bischoff with Matt Cardona as the official for the wedding. That he's like has his face all make the aesthetic face, and he tears it off and he goes after PCO. I wouldn't mind that either. But I just think PCO is 85,000 years old. He doesn't need the title. I would have kept on an AJ Francis, but it is what it is. Like you send the hometown crowd, and then you're turning Josh Alexander heel in the main event. It makes no fucking sense. So.
Can I go on record as saying that no promotion anywhere on this planet or any other one should do any callbacks to Eric Bischoff?
How dare you? He's a friend of the show.
In any way, shape, or form.
Well, to WWE, you know, we talk about when he officiated the Billy and Chuck wedding, and he ripped the aesthetic face off, and he was like the official, like that kind of big pop. I thought that was cool. Whatever.
I'm not a fan. Wow. I'm not a fan of ECE.
we didn't notice.
He answers my questions, so I give him props.
Yeah, he's answered mine. So
yeah, he tells me I'm pretty. Yeah,
I've always had a different respect for Eric too. So
I'll go out on a limb and probably say he won't answer mine if I were to ask him one.
Don't get us blocked.
No, I won't get you blocked. I'll behave myself.
Yes, please. We're trying to grow our platform.
Yeah.
No, I know where to behave.
Conrad follows us both. Don't change that.
I know where to behave and where not to. Don't worry.
I had to work really hard for Conrad to follow me. So yeah,
I didn't. He gave it to me right away.
Yeah, you asshole. Anyway. Let's move on to the TNA Knockouts Championship. I thought this was definitely match of the night. I tweeted it out right after it happened, giving kudos to both ladies. And I got I was fortunate to get the like and retweet from Ash by Elegance. So, but yeah, I thought both ladies knocked this one all out of the park. Carlos,
I'm kind of like saddened by this because I think with Jordan keeping the title, I don't see her working in NXT anymore for her right now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I just kind of thought if she dropped the title, we see her more in NXT. But again, I'm okay with this. I think just like again, I think Giselle Shaw is eventually the one to dethrone her. But yeah, I'm a little saddened by this. I kind of wanted that big win for Ash because I think she gets a lot of hate that isn't warranted from the IWC. I've always liked her. But again, but no complaints. I mean, it was a great match. They showed out. Jordan's a fabulous champion. Keep letting her wave that TNA flag. Yeah, it is what it is.
yeah, we'll go right to Davey.
This match impressed the hell out of me. Jordan, we know what we're going to get from her. She's like a top tier women's wrestler, right? Ash, we didn't, but she really impressed me in this. And Carlos is right. Like the perception of her, like we know where that comes from, but you can only when you're booked a certain way for a certain amount of time, that perception is going to be there. TNA has changed that. They got the right character on her that fits her personality. She definitely delivered in this match, and Jordan, for the second time this week, delivered big time in a match. Jordan Grace has my number 2 and number 3 women's matches of the week across the globe, right? Like really good stuff from her this week. And the right person went over. They don't need TNA or NXT right now does not need Jordan Grace, right? They have enough going on right there with Julia coming in and Stephanie Vakura coming in. They don't need Jordan there. Keep Jordan where she's at and keep TNA running strong in the women's division. You don't have to put everybody over in NXT.
We're going to go on to the TNA X Division Championship. New champion, Speedball Mike Bailey, defeating former champion Mustafa Ali. I thought the match was very entertaining, but I kind of feel the end booking of this match kind of went just a little overboard. But we'll start with Davey or Stampede on his reaction to this match.
Do you want one from Davey and Stampede or George?
Oh no, just
one?
combine
Okay.
it. Just combine it. We're good.
Just to clarify. Yeah, okay, I'll echo that. Like this was a really good match up until somebody got a hold of how to overbook 101 because that's exactly well, not what I was thinking of, but yeah, Tommy probably has a copy of that himself. Yeah, like the ending was, I don't know what they were doing there. I mean, it was a call back to the Brett Shawn thing. I get it, but with Earl. But before that, the match definitely delivered. Like, I had no problems with the match up until that point. Bailey winning, all of a sudden now this puts into question what is next for Mustafa Ali. Because Mustafa Ali is not officially signed to TNA. He is a freelancer. He can go wherever he wants. So is he staying there? Where is he going? Not likely New Japan because they're right in the middle of the G1. I highly doubt he's heading back to where he just came from because if that was the case, he just signed with TNA and do the crossover. So could this lead him to a Wednesday night or an all-in debut of sorts? Could. But I mean that's just pure speculation on my part. But opens the door where he doesn't have the title anymore.
And Carlos?
Just me and David on the same wave. Like we had talked about this on our space. I think that because again, I wanted at first I picked Mustafa, then I changed it, and then I was because of this right here. I think that this hopefully, like he everything that he just said. I think that's Mustafa Ali deserves that big contract. He's done everything he can in TNA. I don't see him getting in the world title picture just because I think they have other people that they can have there that they can make kind of their own star out of. I really want to see him get that contract with AEW. I think having a match all out in Chicago with him and Ricochet, both there, both Chicago guys. I think that they can be that draw together that CM Punk was for Chicago. I really want to see him in AEW.
And he's proved himself this year, and he had to do
Absolutely.
that.
Yep.
Like he needed, like regardless of the talent, everybody knows that he has, right? With the way he was presented, where he was previously working, he had to go out and do these things on the Indies and TNA and over in New Japan and everywhere else, right? To show people it's like, okay, I can do this, right? I can be the guy that you're going to cheer for or boo for, one way or the other. Right? And he's more than proved it. Like he's earned whatever contract is coming his way.
Right. Now we're going to move on to the main event of the night. It was the 6-way elimination for the TNA World Championship. And we have a brand new TNA World Champion, Nick Nemeth, defeating Frankie Kazarian, Josh Alexander, Joe Henry, former champion Moose, and Steve Macklin. And I think only one person got this right.
Davey changed it. Davey changed his pick.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I was about to give Carlos.
But still give me my kudos. Still give me my kudos. I'm the one who made him. I'm the one who got him change it. Give my kudos.
No, sorry, you're just lucky.
Damn
Davey, you're just lucky Davey overrided Stampede and just threw that in there. So
That's right.
So, but I thought this really wasn't too terrible of a match. I still thought the women's world championship kind of outdid it. Carlos, were you able to watch this in full yet?
I did. I was you guys who pinned Moose in the match?
Joe Henry.
Okay. My only complaint about this match is again is I think there's a lot of foreshadowing. I think that we're going to see Josh Alexander, the new heel Josh Alexander, in NXT with Ethan Page. Is my prediction. I think this is a lot of foreshadowing for what's going to happen between the relationship with NXT and WWE. Is my prediction. I think Nick Nemeth's the right choice. Again, I feel like he should have been champion already, but I'm glad they gave Moose a nice little run. When you have somebody like that that's willing to go there, that with the pedigree that he has, that wants to represent your brand, he needed to be the champion. I think this is the right move. I'm a little shocked, but with the Josh Alexander heel turn, but again, I just think it's foreshadowing to what's to come. But to me, I would have liked to see Moose. I would have liked to see Moose be the final person that Nick Nemeth beat. But at the same time, it gives Kazarian some shine. Just a lot happened in this match. I think sort of foreshadowed to the relationship between them and NXT. But I'm really glad to see Nick Nemeth be the champion for TNA. I'm happy to see this happen.
And before we go to Stampede, we had a comment from Jim over at Fan in the Van podcast. We could have had a wrestling show and outdraw AEW, but TNA to me fumbled the title change. Everyone else believes in Joe Henry. Guess TNA doesn't.
And just to his comment, like I think this is because Joe Henry's going to work in NXT. I don't think you want to have your NXT. You don't want to have your champion going there taking losses. So I think that's why he's not the champion, because he's still going to be working with NXT.
And Davey, do you have a reaction for that?
Yeah, I would say that's part of it. Nick makes more sense, right? Nick is the more complete guy. Right? He's the more well-known guy. So, his name on that championship is going to draw eyes to it, hopefully, right? Thing with Joe is, take away Joe's song. What is he? Like, what is he as a wrestler? If you take away that song, do you still have the same view of him as that guy is a world champion? I'm just throwing that out there for, a thought or a discussion or what.
And go what Stampede said too, and I think that's something. I think Joe Henry is trying to get hired by WWE or AEW. Even though he'll honor his contract, but he has bigger things. If you even listen to his, I listened to his last night at work. I was listening to him on Talk Is Jericho. And he was even saying, like, he thinks he's going to wrestle. He thinks that he wants to wrestle John Cena next year. Like, everything he says is about WWE. So that's not someone that you put your championship on.
He's trying there.
He's heading there. But at the same time, he's contracted to TNA. Like, he's doing as much as he can for that brand too. But again, and even he'll say in his own words, like, he's not the best wrestler. He's not just that. Like he talked about on the interview yesterday. he's just trying to get a little bit better at each thing because he knows that he's not the best in here, but he's trying to focus on improving a little bit day by day. Like I echo everything that Stampede just said.
So like his gimmick as it currently is completely suited for the WWE style product. Right? Like they will eat that up and come back for seconds. Right? As it is currently constructed. Doesn't matter if it's NXT, it doesn't matter if it's on the main roster, it'll work. Right? And he knows that and he's smart. So good for him. Right? But like you said, don't put your title on someone who is looking, he has an eye out the door. So I don't know when his contract is up, but Jordan Grace's contract was 18 months. Then all of a sudden it was 12. So just keep an eye on any announcements for that to see if there's any restructuring of his contract going forward. Haven't heard anything yet though.
But at the same time, like I think it's smart for TNA to utilize him as that thing that WWE does want. So if you have for the 2 years, then you utilize him, and you let him have him, and you let him be that crossover star to get you people over to your brand. So again, it's a good bargaining chip for them because if WWE wants them, then you use that for everything you can get.
Yeah, if you want him early, this is what we want.
Yep.
Right? That's if they won't do it on their own, force their hand. Right? Do a little negotiation. But yeah, Nick going over for me was the right call. Just looking at the whole thing, who else was in that match? Nick Namath currently holds 4 titles. He's the TNA World Champion. He's the WSW World Heavyweight Champion, the AAA Mega Champion, and the SCX Champion. He won these all in 2024. Plus, he was also the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion this year. Like, you want to talk about under the radar, really good years, right there.
That's Dolph Ziggler's career.
Yeah, like that's just in 2024, and it's only the 3rd week of July, right? Like that's a really good launch, for his first adventure outside of WWE. Nobody would possibly have any complaints about the year he's having so far. I very much like the Josh Alexander turn.
Yeah.
This is going to freshen him up because he's been running the same kind of character now for a while. Like you got to twist things up every now and then. So that was a good little twist. And if you're going to get heat, he did it to the right person, right? Because that crowd was wild when Joe Henry did not win that. The first part of this match was a little clunky. Wasn't the best. It picked up after a certain point. After Moose got eliminated, that the match really picked up. I found Moose is not a great in-ring guy. Got a good look, but he's not great in the ring. So that was just my own observation on it. But the ending sequence, I very much like with Nick and Josh. Made my top 10 too for the week. It did.
And speaking of which, now I finally got it working right. We should hopefully have our top rankings listed on our website, fansofprowrestling.com, here very soon. Want to give a shout out to Jonathan Van Fink. Thank you for the comment. Also to Madness 24/7 365. Thank you for tuning in.
What's up, brother? Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can check us out again via X through either my account or Carlos's account. But you can also check us out on YouTube, Twitch, or even our YouTube channel being displayed on the fansofprowrestling.com. Why don't we go ahead and start kind of changing things up here as we just got done talking about TNA Slammiversary. Let's have Davey kind of lead us into the G1 Climax here. Why don't you go ahead and take the lead and give us the 411 so far with the G1?
So the G1 is a tournament over in Japan, similar to the C1, just very, very much expanded. So if you want to do a tie-in, if you're not familiar with it, that would be kind of parallel as to how these things work. 2 points for a win, no points for a loss, 1 point for a draw, and they're done in blocks, A block, B block. That's essentially your setup. The top 3 will advance. First person with the most points gets a bye in each block. and then the winner of the semifinal match faces the winner of each block, and then they go to the finals. A block versus B block winner. That's your setup, start to finish. The first 2 days on this have very much delivered. Like if you are a fan of professional wrestling and just good, solid matches with stakes in every one of them, this is your tournament to watch. Right? Some guys to watch out for: Oleg Boltin, comparable to him.
Gunther, right?
No, not Gunther. What's the guy in NXT and WWE NXT? It was in with Sheamus and
Rich Holland.
Right.
No, but he caught my attention the first time I ever saw Eddie wrestle. He has something for sure.
Oh yeah, like he got a look like Ridge, right? But he's much more polished, and he's much like he hits hard. He got a good look. Like
he doesn't wear knee pads, right? Like he's old school, right?
Yeah, he's an old school guy, right? It's from Kazakhstan, but he is one to keep an eye on. Another guy is Callum Newman. Looks really good in the ring. Hanair is what Solo Sikoa on like times 10. Like the intensity from this man is just insane. Like why you get they're not real tattoos, but you can see like the tribal markings like on the front of his face going up to the chin. Really good look. He's currently the IWGP strong champion, I believe, or open weight. Sorry. Takeshita is in this tournament. He had an amazing match with Yoda Sushi on day one. Gabe Kidd. If anybody has not seen Gabe Kidd yet, and you always throw around the term aura, right? This guy has it. So think Eddie Kingston, 20 years younger, only in phenomenal shape. Right? Like he's that kind of intense. Yurima. He's looking really good. He had an amazing match today with Hiroki Goto, who has been around for a while, but that match really delivered. The guys to watch in this, Zack Sabre Jr. So he picked up the first 2 wins. Of note, he beat Naito today. Naito is the IWGP World Champion. He made it a point after the match to go grab that belt and hold it. And then he threw it in the ring at Naito. Right. So that's the winner of this tournament gets the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. And right now that main event would be against Naito because he's the world champion. So that could be a little bit of foreshadowing there. Shoto Umino, match of the day today against Shingo Takagi. Amazing performance. That's another young guy to keep a look on. So he picked up his first 2 points. Takeshita would be another one to keep an eye on. Although with his AEW commitments, I'm not sure if they would go that far with it. They could, though. It would make sense if they did. And who else is looking good in this tournament? Hinair, like I said, he's looking really good. Oleg is looking good, but I think Sabre right now would be your odds-on favorite to take this home. Keep an eye on Yoda Sushi, though. He's another one to keep an eye on. They could go that way, too. Another guy that has impressed the hell out of me since he's took over Bullet Club. I was very skeptical of David Finlay because I looked at him and was like, you are just a knockoff of Jay White, how they got you made up here. That's what he looked like. Jet black hair, same kind of clothes, same everything, same club. But he's pivoted away from that. Like he has improved immensely. Like doesn't have any points yet. He's lost his first two matches. He lost today against Yoda Sushi, and then on day one, he lost against Yuri Mura. But both matches really, really delivered. Like if you were skeptical on David before, check him out in these first 2 days. So you'll be very, very impressed with this. So this tournament is off to a rousing start. So if you're going to get in on it now. You'll be happy you did.
And I just want to say on this really quick, just for first of all, thanks to Stampede because he's he's a good spokesperson for this. He'll make me more interested in this, but just for AEW and New Japan, Gabe Kidd and Takeshita will get me watching this tournament. So to New Japan, sign Gabe Kidd if you can. To New Japan and AEW, this partnership is the right thing because these two guys will make me want to tune into this tournament 100%.
Yeah, like Gabe Kidd draws your eyes.
He's new baby. Yeah, he's guy is money.
Yeah.
He's money, print money.
Oh,
Yeah, dude is fuck. He's it.
Yeah, he's a machine.
He's like an old school. He's just that this when he talks, you believe him. Him and MJF. The reason why you want to see this feud because they both mirror each other a lot. Just they are their gimmick. And I champion Gabe Kidd too because he's somebody who was dealing with a lot of mental health things back in the day. So to see him overcoming that and coming into his own just makes me very happy.
Like his next match, I believe, is against Shota. He just got a quick little promo at the end of his match today, and basically saying, "I'm going to end your career. Like I'm going to beat you senseless, essentially." Right? I believe that because he can. Right? Just from the way he presents himself and the way he does his matches and the intensity that it's like okay, Shota may like leave on something. Like carry
that promo was my god, woo, damn, yeah.
And tomorrow, Takeshita and Jeff Cobb, like I said, Gabe Kidd and Shota Umino. So that's your two marquee matches tomorrow. And Takeshita is like very suited for this style.
It's just like you're saying. You're seeing a lot of guys coming into their own. Like again, people that they've invested in. Like it's a beautiful thing to see, and especially because they lost so many big stars. Like it's their future is bright, and I love to see that.
Well, and a lot of people were saying that, right? It's like, AEW stole. It's like, no, it's like you do not understand free agent. Apparently, right? They didn't steal anybody. Like Jay White was looking to move to the States. He only had two places to choose from. Okada did everything that he can there. The hell else is he going to do, right? Osprey spent almost a decade there. Right? If he's going to get paid, right, he has to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, they deserve to get paid. I mean, that's the thing. At the end of this day, these guys deserve to make money. They deserve to feed their families. Like, look at what's happening with Kevin Sullivan right now. The guy who gave his life to pro wrestling, they're having to do GoFundMe's because he didn't make money in this business. And somebody who gave his heart and soul and still does to this business. Like, let these guys make their money. Let them be set up for the rest of their lives. Like, champion this kind of stuff. And the thing that I wanted to say is trust the process. I mean, a lot of these guys that you're seeing now in New Japan were part of New Japan Strong, doing their time at the dojo, and now they're the future. Like that, trust the process that New Japan knows what they're doing because they do.
Yeah, like Ace knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Not an idiot. He's been at this.
And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see in a company, just like with NXT. Like I have no problem with WWE like letting guys go to AEW and trusting their performance, whatever they want to do. Let's say thing for New Japan, they trust their process. These are guys they had in the developmental, and now they're featuring them as stars. Like that's what you want to see a company doing is championing their own stars, like picking their talent over other stuff. Like that's the right path.
And the thing is, because a lot of people don't have a lot of patience, right? But these things take time. You can't do all of this in the span of 3 months. You can't, right? It takes time to get people where you want them and develop and present it in a certain way where people are going to start buying into them. And you're seeing this process. You're seeing that process, come to fruition now, right?
Yep.
With guys like like we mentioned, right? Bolik, Yoda Sushi, you got another kid there, Francisco Akira, Henair is another one, right? David Finlay, Sabre Jr., everybody knows him, right? But he's another guy to, put your flag on, right? So that's another guy. Shota Umino, everybody knows Shota, but he's another guy of the future, right? So they're going to be fine. They'll be more than fine. So, and they do get help, and you get guys from AEW coming over. John Moxley was just their champion.
Yeah.
Like their top.
But it's a true partnership. I mean, again, AEW is doing right by this partnership. They're making the wrestling business stronger as a whole. And again, as a wrestling fan, I love to see it.
Yeah, like they just said, here's one of our top guys, Takeshita. Like the guy is an all-world talent. You can have him for the G1. And Takeshita wanted to do it anyway. So you're helping New Japan and you're keeping Takeshita happy. Because
Absolutely.
because if Takeshita wasn't over there doing the G1, he wouldn't have ran into someone who just came back.
And this is also this is also a benefit of having a big roster because again, they have plenty of talent on TV. And again, and hopefully this leads to WWE allowing the same stuff because if they want to get these guys from AEW, they're gonna have to allow their talent to start doing the same thing like we just saw with AJ Styles and EO. Like you're gonna have to let your talent spread their wings if you want to get them on your roster. And again, let's keep pushing this. I want to see this as a fan of pro wrestling, is seeing all these guys being able to go and do their thing.
And the same with we won't leave these guys out either, but the same with the CMLL agreement.
Absolutely.
Right? Like MJF is going down to CMLL. I never thought in a million years I would have said that particular sentence, but here we are. Kyle Fletcher is down there. Will Nightingale is your champion. You have Atlantis Jr. as your Ring of Honor TV champion, right?
Yeah, you're having Death Triangle going down there too. Yeah.
And Death Triangle is going down there. So, that's working out really, really well. Like the way they're doing this one. It's really nice back and forth.
And to anyone who's hating about because the whole thing with AAA and Conan, who cares? It's starting Khan's money. It's his promotion. He can do what he wants. If he's more comfortable working with CMLL and he gets more benefit out of that, who cares? That's his right to do. If he wants, he wants to build a relationship with CMLL instead of AAA. That's his thing because he still allows stars to go work at AAA too. Like Saddam Singh is becoming one of the biggest stars in AAA. So don't just let it be, man. Let them do what they want to do.
And I've seen those two promotions, AAA and
CMLL. It's better. Yeah,
I'm still different. I'm still getting used to CMLL. I'm still learning that. But they seem to be the more.
They fit better with the brand, more on point with the brand. Yeah.
Yeah, they're more finely polished and
100%.
Right. Yeah, they seem to know. Okay, we got our shit together, type of thing. That's the impression I get so far. Anyway.
Yeah.
That probably went a little longer than we were anticipating.
It's all right. We shelved one of the things while you were talking, so we're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, because I was not paying attention to the dates because I read something totally different. So, but the good thing is it's not in our description of the show anyway. So I'm kind of saved. But anyhow,
put down the sauce.
Hey, what the fuck, dude?
Your brother's cutting you off. Damn, you're home.
I know. My house, and he's cutting me off. What the fuck's wrong with this shit?
I like it.
Anyways, I kind of lost sight what our next topic is going to be.
The gentleman that I referred to as to who was back is Kota Ibushi.
And he signed to All Elite Wrestling, so I'm all for that too.
Yeah, he looked.
He's not
I didn't get a chance to see the match yet, but that was in DDT that he was in.
I just want him healthy.
Just let him be. But healthy. He looked to be moving a lot better than last we saw. Because last we saw he was moving. Yeah, so see where it goes. I don't know yet.
All right. Well, we're getting pretty close to wrapping it up here as the hour has gone by really fast. A good chunk of it. Thank you again for those of you who tuned in live through our X accounts, YouTube, Twitch, or even go straight to our website, The Fans of Pro Wrestling, which is displaying our YouTube channel. But William, I feel like we didn't really get much out of you. So do you have anything to final thoughts?
Really wasn't a whole lot with what I'm able to watch that I can comment on other than, as far as WWE goes, I would say we've got a lot to look forward to with NXT. It seems like they're getting ready to start burning pretty hot here.
Yeah. They're cooking with the TNA partnership. And I think we're going to really start seeing things get even more elevated here soon. I will mention, of course, the MJF match. Go for it.
That was pretty much it. I mean, that as far as I'm concerned, the MJF match where he ends up, taking the title from Osprey, I'm gonna call that my match of the year right now.
That's also Stampede, David, and Davey's match of the year too.
Damn it!
But
all
hey,
three.
you haven't seen Logan Paul versus LA Knight yet at SummerSlam, so let's hold off.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm starting to sense some bias there, Carlos. But anyhow, no, why don't we touch base with that since we do have a little bit of time? I thought that was a stellar match.
It was killer on both of them. They performed so well.
They did. And I think the best part was when they were displaying the countdown on the screen and with MJF winning with 2 seconds left.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how much more that can have been any more than a FU to the rest of the IWC.
I'm glad they did everything they did with this though, because you had a, although questionable, definitive ending, and I'm kind of sick and tired of watching draws.
Yeah, draws are sometimes no fun to watch, but
Especially they're a fucking hour. I don't want no fucking hour draw.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that they would have ended it like that? But no,
Well, I predicted MJF was going to win. So
no, both you and I did. I think we both predicted, but I think one person in the room said a draw, which it was getting pretty damn close. I was biting my nails, and then when MJF won, there's
no way they were going to do that because you knew that Swerve and Okada was going to go to a no finish, so that would have been suicide. Start talking about ICW burning. If they would have had a draw and a no finish, that wouldn't have been.
Yeah, you can't do that. No, that they would have rejected that
Yeah.
completely. But that's my match of the year right now. I've noticed a little trend with what I have in the top 10 here. One of them is there's a gentleman that's in there quite a bit, which is Osprey.
Yeah.
But the other kind of commonality to all this is, as I'm looking down like my top 10 here, the majority of those matches, not all of them, because some of them are pretty straightforward as to who was winning and who wasn't, but the majority of them, there was doubt. I don't know regardless of who wins, it would make sense either way. And a lot of those matches that are in my top 10 have that. So that's, because if you can see 1,000 miles away who's winning most of the time, that's not always, the best, right? You got to kind of book it where both guys coming in are strong enough and credible enough, and the storylines attached to it would make sense either way. You can do that, then you're doing something right.
And that's what AEW needs to get to, that because that's been the problem for so long. Is like they were good matches, but it's so much predictability. They have the roster, like give one match a week like this on Dynamite, and I guarantee you'll see those ratings continue to climb.
Well, number one is MJF Osprey. I didn't know right up to the last, the referee counted 3 as to who was winning that. The other one was Danielson Osprey. I didn't know who was winning that. Right, that was AEW. Swerve Strickland and Osprey. I mean, that could have went either way.
Yep.
Right. So that was AEW. There's a couple of Marigold on there. There's a Stardom match there. Takeshita and Osprey. I didn't know who was winning that. That could have went the other way. The other one was Darby and Sting. Everyone you don't even have to watch wrestling, and you knew who was winning that. And then there's a few New Japan on there too. But I do find they do that, but a lot of them involve Osprey because the guy's quite good.
And it's funny when I think about MJF right now, I'm thinking about Joe Henry's comments on Chris Van Vliet, and it's like if you're gonna be the big star, like you gotta do what's expected of the guy, and that's what I see MJF doing. Like he wants to play his gimmick, but at the same time, like you want to sign the big contract, like you need to do what a big talent does, and I think that's what he's doing right now. Going an hour, elevating, taking the international title, elevating that, going to be a representative in CMLL, like he's warranting his contract, and I love seeing that.
Yeah, and that was his 3rd match.
Yeah, I did, and he just proves all the doubters wrong. He doesn't need to wrestle every week just to stay on top. No, he's a generational talent.
Well, to be in your 3rd match of the year, go essentially 60 minutes, right? And they didn't work a 60-minute pace.
No, they were balls to the wall.
They were balls to the wall for most of that, right? Because a lot of those 60-minute matches,
they drag.
Right, Well, not they
rest
dread it.
holds. Well, they
they're just paced
time it
different,
to yeah, they pace it differently. Yeah.
Yeah, but like at the 45-minute mark, man, like they were doing things off the corner turnbuckle and landing like flips and landing on their feet. You should not be able to do that. Like, I mean, we've seen Osprey do it a lot of times, but both of them did that. Like just phenomenal stuff, and like Osprey selling the knee and then selling the shoulder, and it was just really, really well done. Max pulling out the kangaroo kick again. Because you remember, you go back to his promo a couple weeks prior, right? I'm done with that shit. Well, apparently not, because you had to haul out everything in your arsenal to get this done, plus a ring. Right?
And one thing I want to say about that too, and I told this on our space on Thursday. Eventually, I'm gonna need to see the smart baby face that has the ref pat down MJF before the start of a match. Eventually, I'm gonna need to see that.
You need a heel. Well, you need a heel ref. They would be smarter if they follow the heel face dynamic of wrestlers. We didn't really touch on Collision, so I'll do this real quick. Jay White's injury is legit. Okay, so that's real. As far as the Bullet Club, there is supposed to be more to the Bullet Club story unfolding. So there is something good. They're not just dropping what's going on there. There's something coming there. New trios champs in the Patriarchy. Congrats to them. Good match. Liked it. I enjoyed that very much. Nick Wayne's first gold in AEW, and Christian will give shine to those titles because he's.
If Christian lets the whole ever hold the title, Christian's already holding all three of
them. But he, like every title he's had, he's elevated them.
Yeah.
So this is a good thing. The lights flickering for those who caught that. That's a House of Black reference. So,
and also they got rid of they got rid of the Ring of Honor title. So I'm glad it's just one championship now. Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So that's a good call. Darby Allin. It's a quick little shout. It's going to be Darby and Jack at All In. That's what this is leading to as well, because he did call him out the other night. His promos sound about as real as you can possibly get. Like he doesn't sound like nobody told him to say anything. It just sounds like he's out there shooting the shit. Right? That really draws me to him. It's like he sounds so real, probably because he is. The stage setup. Did anybody notice that? Like when the wrestlers first come out?
It was different. Yeah, it was fun.
It had a very, I don't know if anybody will get this, but a very non-North American style look. It looked like something from you would see in CMLL or something you would see in a Noah or something like from there. It didn't have your standard like look that you see on every other show, I thought. So I like that. It's different. Right? So that stood out to me. And Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting is gone. There's a new theme. So at some point, that show may be moving off Saturdays. Because if you remove the song, you might be removing the day, right? And we did hear rumors of that. Nothing verified yet. But that wouldn't make sense to get them off Saturdays and take Rampage with them. Get them off Fridays. I would be all for that.
Would you be okay with them just doing away with Rampage and just having Collision only?
What I would like to see them do, and this kind of ties into the scuttlebutt that we've heard, keep Dynamite on Wednesdays, keep it 2 hours, and then go back to back. Take Collision and take Rampage, combine them into one show, 3 hours on Thursday. So you go from Wednesday to Thursday, you get everything done that you're going to get done in the span of 2 days. You're off Saturdays, so you're not going to screw around with your own pay-per-views or WWE pay-per-views or TNA pay-per-views or UFC. So you're taking yourself out of that mix, and you get Rampage off Fridays, because like Rampage on Fridays where I live comes on at 11 o'clock at night. It's only an hour, but a lot of people aren't staying up. And plus you're dealing with SmackDown, right? So to move them, like the days they're on are not ideal right now. But that's what I would like to see happen.
Well, that was my excuse me. That was my criticism when they first started Saturday night. at first, yeah, shiny new toy. Everybody's gonna have their eyes on it and go wow and whatnot. But the one thing I did mention many a times is I don't know how they would be able to keep the attention span on Saturdays, especially when, you know, like you mentioned, Davey, WWE, PLEs, UFC.
There's a lot of traffic on Saturday.
And the thing is, I enjoy Collision. It's a fun show, and again, I work Saturdays. I come home to watch. It's fun, but the counter of that is they're not booking strong enough to retain a crowd. Like the match, like the show is very like, oh, if I have plans, that's okay to miss it because it's not as strong. Like I gotta watch this show. Like there's like the matches are
Well, and that's
like, yeah.
the other thing too, right? Like Saturday, like you work all week, Monday if you got a Monday to Friday schedule, right? It's like, okay, Saturday, let's go out and do something, right? Then you're not watching Collision, right? I'm up in Canada. Hockey is huge up here. Right? There's a show. It's called Hockey Night in Canada, and it's on Saturdays. So they will lose people to that. Like we lost people last year to it. Right? You're just gonna. People have been watching that for decades. That's how long it's been on. So to get them off Saturdays would be a smart move. Right?
The one thing, can I say something about Collision? The one thing I didn't like the FTR promo. I feel like they should have waited a week for that because I feel like there's a lot of people that don't think the Acclaim deserve to be in this Blood and Guts. And when you already got FTR talking about the Young Bucks they're already talking about the Young Bucks, and again, they go off cuff. They're not scripted. They should have at least mentioned the Acclaim because the Acclaim do have a title shot coming up too. Like they should at least mention the possibility of facing them. When you already have a fan base that doesn't think they deserve to be in this match, and you already have FTR overlooking them, I feel like they didn't do the Acclaim any favors for beating Blood and Guts this Wednesday. I don't like the promo. I think they should have waited at least a week.
I think the Acclaimed are going to surprise a lot of people.
Me too. We're on the same page with that. I agree.
Yeah,
and I just think the promo was necessary.
But I think what people are doing there is they're taking the perception of the Acclaimed of what they were just recently doing, which wasn't the best, right? Like they need that character shift and everything, right? Which is what they're in the midst of right now. Right? The Acclaimed you're seeing right now is not the same Acclaimed you've seen 2 months ago when they were doing that Bullet Club fucking nonsense. That was not good, right? I zoned out of it. It's like I don't care, And I love Jay White, but even that took me out of it. I'm just not interested in this. But they're not the same now. Just people have to focus on what's going on now and not what was going on. So I think there's a bit of a disconnect there. So just shift focus would be my suggestion. But they're going to surprise people Wednesday, guaranteed. They're in there for a reason. They're not throw-ins, and they do have that title shot in their back pocket. That's not going to be forgotten about, would be my guess. So that will play into something going forward.
And again, like I said, maybe again, let it. Maybe I got to see it play out. But at the same time, I wish FTR would have just gave them a little shine with the promo. I feel like the promo did nothing for them.
I mean, this could lead to a 3-way too,
which I'd be more than okay with.
FTR rises in the ranks to get their number one shot. Bucks give it to them, and then Acclaim says, "Oh, wait a minute, guys, we're the contenders here. We beat you already, right?" So that's an easy setup if that's
for sure. Like I said, I hope it does lead that way.
Yeah, because think back to the matches they had with Swerve and Keith Lee, right? When you get that acclaimed, it works, and it works really well, right? So it's not a big shift to get them back to that. They just got to get away from the cheesiness that they were doing. It gives you a different perception of what they are as opposed to what they're able to do.
All right. We kind of went into a little bit of overtime, but now I think we're going to go ahead and get into our final thoughts for the week. Carlos, why don't we go ahead and start with you? And if you have any shout outs too, sorry.
I'm good. I just want to shout out everyone who supports us on X. Appreciate you guys being there. Appreciate the 240 people supporting us on there. Appreciate everyone for listening. I want to see from WWE, impress me WWE. I feel like they're in cruise control. I want to see besides the obvious answer of money. I want to see why. I want to see why he warrant SummerSlam being too nice. I want to see a really booked SmackDown. I want to see a really booked Raw. I want to see really good storylines. I want to see a validation of why you're going to make SummerSlam 2 nights next year. I'm asking for that, please.
Stampede.
Yeah, I'll kind of echo that. It's like, do something there to draw me back as a viewer. Because right now you're not. Right? Like 30 minutes of wrestling on a SmackDown, it's not going to entice me to watch. Sorry. Just like I said, right now I'm not their target audience. Obviously, right? Wouldn't take much to start adding some things in to get me as a target. So, I do root for them. Like I want them to do well. And then there are things there that they're doing that I do like, but there's a lot that I don't. So, little shift. Hopefully, they do that coming forward. They got a big pay-per-view coming up, so I hope that delivers. As far as a shout out, I'm going to do that to a friend of mine on the Twitter or the X or Twix, whatever we're calling that. Pro Wrestling Bites. If you're not following him, give him a follow. He is absolutely excellent. Covers everything and is very knowledgeable and informative, and he knows his stuff. So check him out. Look into his stuff. He's doing rundowns on the G1 daily. Thoughts and ratings on them. Really, really good. Check them out. And Stampede and Carlos and everybody else on the Wrestling Fans site as well, because we're really good too.
Well, not quite as good as you two, but anyways.
Love you two. I got a poster of them in my room. Oh, different you two.
Yes.
Here he goes again.
There he goes again.
Just like his joke with Santana earlier.
Carlos the Juice Santana.
You have any more final thoughts, Will, or shout outs?
No, I do not, other than just thanking all of the listeners.
Yes, again, can't be here without any of you. We actually just barely topped off to 266 of you tuning in. Thank you for coming in and joining our live and checking us out. Never be afraid to come and throw in comments once in a while. We'll be able to publish those as well. But let's go ahead and get right to the end here. You, as Davey mentioned, go ahead and follow us on X. You can follow me, John, at wfincitepod. William?
At William Hoppe 8.
And be sure to follow our missing cohorts, Heather, at Bama Girl _4_ EVA, at Bama Girl Forever, Roll Tide Bitches, and also Bryan the Hype Ballard, at the Bryan Adkins, and also be sure to follow his YouTube, the Top Out Talk, at Tap Out Talk. Carlos?
At Seats the LOS 77, and then at Conquer the No, please, and thank you.
And Stampede?
At DAVIDROBER 7174.
And just shouting out the few podcasts that always shout us out to. Thank you for everything. Jim over at Fan in the Van. Is This a Bad Take? Two Dudes Sports News, Cigar and Sports, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, Visit Vegas Places with Coil, Chris and Deb over at Today We Laughed and Learned, and also Don't Make Mistakes, listen to Ted's Takes, Ted the Hillbilly Hill. Go check out his shorts there, or his video shorts. Guess we better specify that one. Go check out his video shorts there on his YouTube channel, formerly known as The Hill Truth, is the longest, greatest Hill podcast ever. And without any further ado, we're going to call it a week, and we'll check you guys out. Well, actually, Howard and me, X Spaces this week, Carlos.
We'll be on tomorrow, then we'll be on Thursday. And you said we're going to do a show on Thursday as well, right, for this?
Thursday, we are going to do a combined live and X Space like we've done many times in the past. I will be running things on the live as Carlos will be hosting the X Space, and we will be tied in together. So those of you who don't necessarily join us on X Space, you can check it out on the YouTube and the front page of our site as well. So without any further ado, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys Monday and Thursday.